Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everybody, to the 8th episode of the Executive Suite. I'm your girl, TeQuila Shabazz, or now Mrs. Williams, if you friends and family. I just got married. I'm so happy about that. I am the outgoing bookworm of yesterday, the smart, no-nonsense, driven social entrepreneur of today, and tomorrow's billionaire boss changing the world. I'm most proud of being a wife, a mother, a mentor, and coach, and I pour love on and into everything I touch and move in obedience with God's plans. Okay, so I am founder of Key Virtual Support Solutions, which is the fastest growing Black woman-owned staffing agency in the world. You know, I'm claiming it, in the world, honey. And we match high quality assistants that specialize in the areas of operations, specifically administrative, sales, customer service, from entry to executive level, managerial experience with high achieving executives and entrepreneurs. For you guys who are new to this space, the Executive Suite is a space where self-made, high-achieving, high-earning women have candid conversations about real life experiences on our way to and through success. Okay, our purpose is not only to share our perspectives and lessons, but also dispel a lot of common myths that come with the territory of being driven, ambitious, and focused, because it's a whole bunch of myths and a whole bunch of talk that be on out there in the world about us. Okay, so we're here to dispel that. We're here to just have fun. Make sure that you are leaving your name in the chat. Let me know that you're here, where you're chiming in. You are the executives and you are inside of the suite. I am so happy to have our guest today joining us. Dr. Nyela Malone from Lotus Healing is joining us. And also Aneesha Smith with Reflections by Zana is joining us today. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, it's going to be good. This is going to be a good conversation. I'm very, very excited. You guys, I always allow our guests to introduce themselves through our first segment, so I don't read off bios. You know, I like everything to be organic. But before we start, you guys, make sure that you are liking and subscribing and following all of the pages. And make sure that you share this with individuals that may be interested in what we are talking about today. So I'm going to start off with you, Dr. Nyela Malone. It is so good to see you, girlfriend.
Hey, TeQuila.
Hey.
Thank you for having me, considering me for your platform, and having this conversation, because there are so many of us out there that are doing really great things, but we still are human and we need to be humanized. And when I heard your introduction, I said, you know what? This is good. This is on time, and I am excited to be here.
Yes, y'all. Dr. Nyela is a lot of things, and a comedian is another one. She kept us laughing. I met her at Northwestern during the Ascend program last year. We both are graduates of that program. Yeah. So I'm so happy to be reunited. That's why I got this smile on my face.
All right.
All good memories. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. You heard me talk about myself real briefly, and I want you to go into more detail about like who I was in the past, like this little girl who people knew me as, who I am right now in the present, and who you are witnessing right in front of you, growing and blossoming right in front of you, and my future, right? We're creating our future in the moment. So tell me who Dr. Nyela Malone is, past, present, and future.
Okay, well, the past, I want to just acknowledge I am a teen mom. I had my son the year I turned 20, and I had to drop out of undergrad to give birth. And then I was back. He was born in March. I was back in summer school in May, you know, and that was the year I turned 20. That was the year it was like, okay, I can't just kick it at school, you know, let me do something, because I have a whole person, you know, and even though I had my family and my community helping me with my son, I still had a lot to do. And so I had to hit the ground running straight from undergrad to grad school. And when I graduated with my first master's at 24, he was on my hip, you know, and just to pan forward, when he got his first master's, no kids. I mean, he got a better credit score than I do. He works at Northwestern, but I mean, just imagine being this terrified 20-year-old, not knowing that, don't worry, your baby gonna have a master's degree.
That's
Your
right.
baby gonna be able to co-sign for something for you one day, kind of
Right.
like that, But when I graduated, I moved to Chicago and I started working for the city of Chicago with the youth program. So I started, working in the human services field with the city with cleaning up Lower Wacker as far as getting the people and working with the homeless population and domestic violence and all of the, just real the basics of human needs. That's where I started my career, and so it humbled me very quickly because I'm from a small town in Southern Illinois. However, poverty in a small town or a rural town is nothing like the poverty of Chicago, or a big major city. And so I saw homelessness on a for real level and giving out food boxes and those kind of things. However, that piece being at the city allowed me to get promoted to youth services. And so I worked with the mayor's office and we funded youth nets and community development programs and all of those things. And it allowed me to see things on a larger scale and allowed me to I would say that was my early introduction into politics, working for the city. And so I started to understand the city structure and the aldermen and the commissioners and, what that looked like and, started navigating those things. And so during that time, that's when I got married. And my youngest son is a result of that marriage. And then, life happens. I got divorced, and kind of bouncing back after divorce, coming back into the workspace, starting over again from like nothing, just very hurt, very torn. I went from, doing really well to like, I have a 14-year-old and a baby. What am I going to do now? And it was very difficult. Just kind of getting back into the groove, just taking a job to be employed and, going through whatever that was. And, ultimately, eventually, I want to say about 7 years or so out from that, I decided to do my own thing. I was tired of asking for when I can take off. And I knew I had more to offer. I was more than just a worker. Because all of these different jobs and all of these different titles and all of these different connections that I was making was laying the groundwork for me to be able to build my own thing. I didn't know that I was collecting skills as I felt I was getting kicked in the stomach and told no. And, I was learning how to fail. I was learning to deal with things and make things happen anyway. I was learning how to have conversations with people and it don't go my way, but still it doesn't have to destroy a relationship. And, this person may be useful later. And so I was learning how to kind of navigate through life without really a formal teacher because life was teaching me as I was going through.
That's right.
And life was teaching me. And so when I decided to have my own business and use the skills, because I had been credentialed to do private practice when I first graduated my first master's degree, but nobody told me. And I didn't know. And I spent all that time working for other people. And so, once I started working for myself, there's a fear, what if I can't pay for this? Or what if what if there's all these fears because you weren't taught that money comes from the inside out, not the outside in.
Yes.
And so when I realized that the job was not my source, God is my source, the universe is my source, there was a shift in my mindset. I can think about something, write something down, and then I have money.
That's real. That's real. Just like that.
Wait, you mean I can think about something, write it down, talk about it to my homegirls that got other stuff going on. And then money happens.
Yep.
You know, and that's
art of manifestation.
Exactly. And that's not even talking about what I actually do. That's not even talking about my gift as a therapist or, you know, what I actually do. And then when I start breaking down the wonderful people that I have worked with and, you know, how I went from, I will see anybody that would come and see me to, you know, you got to know somebody to know somebody to know somebody to get an appointment with me. You screen 3-4 times before you can actually get with me, which is a charmed place to be. You know, Lotus Healing is my baby. I have about, I think right now I have 6 contract therapists working for me. And also along with Lotus Healing, I'm also an author. I just put out my first book, Dope Witch 365.
Yes.
It's manifesting / journal, little daily, like a daily word, you know, and, you know, it's like there's so much more that I'm going to be doing. So that's a little bit about myself. Again, I'm a mother of 2 wonderful boys. Jordan, he's 28. My youngest, Timothy, he's 13. And I'm on another part of my life right now. I'm actually, I can just share with the world, I'm the weekend mom now. So Dad is getting married. I met with him and his fiance. It's a wonderful situation. And so now Tim is going to be in a 2-parent household and he'll see me on every other weekend. And I am traveling the world. I just got back from Martha's Vineyard last week. I'm hosting my first healing retreat in Puerto Vallarta at the end of September. And so now I'm doing more than therapy. We're moving to retreats now. So it's a lot of great things that are going on in my life, in my company, in my family. And I'm happy to share like the real part of that because, you know, all people see, you know, depending on where people meet you, they just see the finished product.
That's it. That's it. They see the finished product. And I love talking about dispelling myths. You know, as a woman, it's often placed on us that, you know, you don't hear about us being the weekend parent. That's not the norm. Right. And if it is, then what's wrong with you? What you doing? You messing up your kids' lives and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, we have to be beyond exceptional to be considered great mothers. But a father, he can do the most basic things and be like, ooh, look at that good dad.
He picks up the kid from school. Ooh,
great.
You picked your son up. Like, word.
So I absolutely love that what you're doing, and you really have gone through like past, present, future, telling us like who you were past, how you got to who you are now, and where you're going, which I love. I hope to be able to join some of those retreats. I love wellness retreats. I love them, especially if it's in another country.
Yes. We're going to Puerto Vallarta.
Tell me, just in closing this out real quick, your segment before we move on to Aneesha, how do you define success? Because that is such a subjective, you know, word or idea. So how do you define success?
For me, success is just being able to do what you want to do on your own terms. You know, to me, that's what success is. You know, I feel that I'm in a very charmed place in life. I don't need anything, and I do what I want to do in order to make my living. And so I feel I am successful. Of course, everybody wants more. You know, everybody likes to live well and do wonderful things, but just being able to live your life on your own terms without any input, or you don't need any amen choir or any approval, or, you know, I realize that I validate myself, you know. So success is being able to validate yourself and do what you want to do when you want to do it with the people that you love.
Oh, I love that. You guys, you make sure you sharing this out to your audience, and make sure that you are following, subscribing. Drop some gems in the comments, because Dr. Nyela is bringing jewels, honey. She is. Y'all see how relaxed and unbothered, Sheila.
Yes.
That's success, honey.
Yes.
That is success. I love it. Thank you, Dr. Nyela. We're going to go ahead and move to Aneesha Smith. Welcome, hon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate the opportunity.
Yes.
Hi, Dr. Nyela. Thank you.
Right? She just gave us our whole life. All right.
Yes.
So tell me, same thing. I'm interested in knowing who you are, past, present, future.
All right. Well, in the past, I think it's funny. We have a little bit of similarity, Dr. Nyela, when it comes to motherhood and how early I started. So small Midwestern town. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and went to, Catholic all girls schools growing up. And I had actually become a mother too at 17 years old. And was able to, you talk about a shift in, mindset and rethinking your future. At the time that I found out I was pregnant, I was a senior in high school. I was a honor roll student and an athlete and a role model for my peers at my school. I was the oldest child. I was a role model. I was like what my mom wanted in a daughter. A lot of people did not believe that it would have been me that, gets pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, just having that expectation and really being almost, when I tell the story, I tell people it's almost like wearing a scarlet letter, because I understood how hard my mom worked. Hard. We qualified for scholarships. I grew up in a single family household. My parents divorced when I was 8. So we were in the dual household. Dad, we saw them regularly, but we really did come up different because we had what his teaching was and we had what her teachings were. And even though they both were about expectation, nobody saw a 17-year-old, 16-year-old Aneesha having a baby in high school after, accomplishing so much, getting ready to go to college, and then bam, your senior year, your mom's like flipped upside down. Your life is just turned upside down over pregnancy. And so even though I did not feel like it was hindering to me, I really did feel like I just was going to make it work. My initial aspiration was to do biology pre-med and go on to be a physician. So I had all but basically accepted my admission to college. I had visited colleges. They were like, "We're ready for you. Just come through." This is before kind of the pregnancy and things were, going. Like you just had one path and you saw it, and then boom, it was changing. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up actually having my guidance counselor in high school say, "Why don't you go to this college fair?" And I was like 9 months. When you have a like 8-9 month belly in a college fair and a uniform skirt, like it just. And in the 90s, it's mind blowing. Like like it's a lot of stigma around pregnancy at that time, and just to just show up, I didn't care. I went. I had one of the recruiters who was out and saw me picking up papers and, said, "Well, what are you trying to do? I see there you are expecting." And I said, "I want to go to medical school." And I said, "Have you ever considered nursing?" And I was like, "No, actually, I have not considered nursing." And so she said, "Well, you can still, be in healthcare. But you should consider nursing. I think obviously with your situation, it may be easier for you. You may be able to go to community college and slow it down." And, she just kind of planted that seed. And so she said, "Our school is one of the top schools in the nation. You should apply and see what happens. Come, like the whole recruiting scene, come visit." It was local. Like we're not talking out of town. This was a bus ride away in Cleveland, Ohio. It was a bus ride away. And so I pursued it. I applied to 2 schools. Both of them were private universities. Both of them were top nursing programs in the nation. Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland and Ursuline College. And I was accepted into both. And I was decided to go after graduating. So you talk about being, having a son on your hip. I graduated in May of 97, and I was enrolled in college as a commuter in August. And so I had my son, and at the time I met a young man, which is, I feel like it's a whole nother story, but I'm going to condense that because I met him at the mall before I even found out I was pregnant. Had to tell him I was pregnant. He was in college, out of state. My family was like, he's such a nice man. He's not going to stay with you. He's not not the father. Like, I hate this for you. You got to do all this alone. And I had to call and tell him in October. We met in July. We were like this. And everything was going well. I had that literally come up, turn your world upside down. He had met my parents, he had met my dad, and then I had to call him and tell him, so this is what's happening. and his family. And I gave him the option. I said, this is not on you. We just met. I understand if you are not wanting to date an 18-year-old mom, you have no children, you are in school. Like, I get it. And so he essentially said, no, I'm gonna stick around. And so fast forward 26 years and a nursing degree and about, I don't know how many business endeavors we've done together. Reflections by Zana is the latest. We've written books together, traveled the world together. We have 2 daughters, which makes our tribe 3. My son is 25. The one I had, he works for us. And my 2 daughters are 17 and 15, and they work for us.
Oh my God. I love that story.
So we were one of the ones where I took him to prom, and we just celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary this year. And we've been together, like we use our son as the metric. So he's 25. So July was 26 years, July of this year. So it'll be 27 years since we met next July. And we'll be at 18 years of marriage.
So real quick in there, what is future? Who I know who you are.
Oh my God. So
future.
I'm going to say, I've always been about experiences, and I've learned, we've evolved together. And we've kept life really interesting because we are doing things together and just setting goals and doing things. And so a future me is basically not doing so much running and heavy lifting. 22 years as a nurse, I'm starting to really appreciate letting go of the grind and really falling into what I am good at, or, I love teaching and education. I love uplifting and motivation. And we've actually been able to just build an e-commerce brand around creating experiences for our customers. And so just to be able to say, okay, we got this down, future me is going to then start to impact, like you said, Dr. Nyela, the experience piece of living, as a middle-aged woman, 40 plus, the experience piece, and just letting yourself blossom without that expectation.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What I think the future me is yeah.
I love it. And how do you define success? Real quick, tell me success.
Oh, real quick, I would say success, even though, it's got a very cliched, it's just success. I don't know. I feel like it's a mood. I feel like it is something that, you have a positive aura around. Even though a lot of times success is other people's expectation of what you're doing or what you have done. I tend to think that I can be successful at one thing or many things, but ultimately my aura is a positive, forward-thinking aura. And so success for me, I think it's just tied to my spirit and just having a fighter spirit and things that I conquer and things that I do. I want to cloak in positivity. You know what I mean? I think it's probably esoteric, the definition, but I feel like you sit back and you're like, you got people really kind of emotionally pulling you under this guise of what is success and what is not success. And so
Yeah.
I want to shed that because I think it's not very healthy. And like Dr. Nyela said, it's really about the freedom of expression. And I think besides success and besides, just the word and trying to box that word, I'm unboxing and it's a mood.
Right. Yeah. And I like that. And I think that success is unboxing, right? Like not being stuck in a box. It is a mood. That's why I said, look at Dr. Nyela. That's what it looked like. That's what it feel like. And I mean, and even after hearing your story, right? So we all have these similarities where I too had my daughter at 16. My daughter just turned 28. So, in the 90s, right? It was 1994. I had my whole life. I was that one that everybody just knew.
Yep.
Yeah. I was the homecoming queen of my high school.
Oh my goodness!
Like, when I got pregnant in college, everyone's like,
"What happened? What happened?"
So I completely understand from both perspectives. It was just different areas. I was my sophomore year. You were your senior year. You were going into your freshman year of college, right? But because we thought about success outside of the box of what people's and expectations were of ours, we still ended up more successful than most people that were trying to put us in that box of success.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't
I'm selling tickets right now.
And the thing about it is like, they're expecting, okay, you go to community college. I had a social worker following me, when you're a teenager, and they're blown away at your progress. They just don't. A lot of the expectation was not there for teenage moms. It's like, okay, you're just gonna fall on out of this. You're gonna go and just gonna be a struggle bus, and you're not gonna be, like, we're gonna make sure you kind of, have it laid out. And I just was like, never. Like, when we going to college, we gonna finish on time. It's not gonna slow me down. Like that. I have him.
Here's the thing, my path a little bit different from you all, right? But then it just shows you we all here sitting together, like in the same space, and the universe brought us together because where we intersect again with success being unboxed. I, in my senior year, dropped out the first or the top of the second semester because I was taking care of my child, also working, and fell asleep in class and had one of the teacher come slam a big ass book on the desk and say, I don't care how many kids you have. You're not going to go to sleep in my class, the 90s, right? No empathy. And so at that moment, I decided, okay, I told him off, right? Like after you have a baby, you find your a whole different way.
Oh yeah.
I was like, liberating, right? So I walked out of there. I went and got my GED the same day. So I was actually finished with high school before my class was finished with high school.
I love it.
Right? And then I went and enrolled in college. And I'm still one semester away from having, a bachelor's degree. But not having a bachelor's degree never hindered me from doing anything. I've had some of the top level positions, working for the city, working for top media companies from PBS to Tribune, right? Having great successes, rewards, being named by Forbes. You know what I mean? Like, it's having a 7-figure business. A whole mood.
That's
no
right.
one defines success.
That's
you
right.
do. You
That's
do.
right.
And you always have an opportunity to pivot. And create, like Dr. Nyela says, manifest and create, and just what you did, Aneesha, the life that you want, right? People said for you that this man will never. Here you are celebrating a person's equivalent to 3 marriages.
Exactly. And probably outlived your marriage has survived the marriages of people who was married when you was a kid.
We actually have been to every marriage we've attended. They are no longer married. Can you imagine that?
See,
not one.
Here we go. We going in, but we got to go in for a commercial break. It's so good. It's so good. This is a great segment. Let's go ahead and break to a commercial, and we will be back with our heartfelt segment.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple, and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-5600 4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
All right, you guys heard that. And I do want to give a quick reminder for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can even follow us on Spotify, iHeart, I believe that is, iHeart Radio, any of those, Facebook, YouTube, you can find us and get into this conversation. And for my people that are in the audience, my executives that are in the audience, please make sure you drop. I want you to drop what these gems, okay? What stuck with you in that first segment? And you know what? I'm actually going to be giving out a gift for the most engaged member of the Executive Suite. So anything that has stuck with you from either of our guests, both of our guests, drop that in the comments. Anything that you want to share about your own life and the topics that we're discussing, please drop that in there. And don't forget to share this with your network. If you're watching a replay, let me know, #replay. I love to make sure that I take note of that. All right, you guys, we are in our second segment. We call this the heartfelt segment, where we're going to ask a few questions. We're going to go ahead and shift it back to Dr. Nyela Malone. And Dr. Nyela, my first question is, what are the top 3 to 5 principles that you live by?
So, I have to take the one over from, what is that? The 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your words. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm not a person that's going to throw a rock and hide my hand. I'm at a space in my life. It's like, I said it, let's deal with it. So yeah, just kind of say what you mean what you say. Number 2, take time for yourself. You gotta, take time for yourself, take time to be alone and be with yourself. And then also the third thing is, lead with love. Lead with love. I treat everybody with unconditional positive regard. The assumption is, I remember being so defensive as a young person, waiting on my age to catch up with my degree and all those kind of things, and people not expecting me to show up the way that I did. And now I'm in a space where I don't have to be defensive anymore, and I educate people now. And so, so even if you are coming for me and I didn't send for you, you're going to leave with some education. You're going to get food.
It's really good. Nia said that she loves how success can feel like being present in your peace. I really enjoy hearing that from everybody. It's so inspiring. And she's a young lady, so that's my niece. So I'm glad that she tuned in and and she getting these gems. That was a surprise, you know what I mean? So that's who I want to get it. So I love that. That first one, I live by the 4 agreements, and that be impeccable with your word, especially if you are a person that is in the spirit of manifesting. It tells you if you are spiritual and you read spiritual text, it says in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word is God, right? So understand that it all starts from thought to word, and what you speak will become life. Right. So I absolutely love that principle. I love all the principles, but that one right there, you understand, that's where it starts. You are exactly who you say you are.
Yes. And the thing is, it's like, I remember, when people, oh, how you doing, girl? I'm making it. No, how you doing? I am great. Money falling all over me. I can't fight the money. It's like,
I love it.
Even my sarcasm is about wellness. Sarcasm is about wellness, because the universe can't take a joke. So even when I joke, it's about abundance. It's about love. It's about greatness.
Oh, I love that. So what do you think the top misconceptions people have about successful women?
That we're unapproachable. That you can't come to us with an idea and we be open about it. I think that it may be kind of misconstrued that we are not as open, that we have to be so guarded up. And I think that may cause people to maybe not come to us with as many opportunities sometimes.
I like that. This is my third question. What does it look like to recreate yourself so that you meet the ideas of meet your ideas of success? Right?
To recreate myself, I think I'm kind of piggyback on what Aneesha said as far as, success being fluid. It's something that you can strive for every day. And so when I wake up in the morning, I know I have my schedule, but then it's also what's going to happen the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I wake up in the morning, I anticipate great things. And at the end of the day, I assess it, and it's like, yeah, this is a good one. And so at the end of the day, I measure my success daily. Did I give my power away? Did I say something I shouldn't say? Is there somebody I owe an apology to? I'm assessing, and then I want to make it right when I get up the next day.
What are some mindsets that you were raised in that you had to break away from in order for you to be the woman that you are today?
I think one of the main ones is don't speak outside the house. I think that spirit of secrecy is what keeps us in guilt and shame and closeted about our pain. And I think that you have to speak outside the house. You have to let people know that you're hurt. You have to let people know that you need help. That crying in the dark and trying to gut it out by yourself, that ain't winning. That ain't winning. I need help. I'm a delicate flower. Do you need help with that? Yes. Let me get that for you. Okay, sugar. Success is not strength. Success is power.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so, the secrecy of, just don't look outside when there is a need. And sometimes all you have to do is speak it. And I always ask for what I want. I used to be afraid to ask for what I want and keep quiet about my needs. And, I think that speaking outside the house, I think that's something that's been a community thing, a communal thing. And I think that's one of the things that I had to let go.
Yeah, I love that. Ask for me, I claim.
Amen.
You know what I mean? I affirm.
Yes.
I don't even ask. I just know it's already there as soon as I say it is.
Yes.
Right? And that's but like you said, most people won't even ask.
Yes.
Right? And then I think the next thing is just like it is, right? Like so let me move to you, Aneesha. Same questions. What are the 3 to 5 principles that you live by?
I think that I've slowed down quite a bit in like principle. What is principle and structure? I'm not a structured person as a creative, as a visionary. And so a lot of things are kind of close to the vest. They're just about how I feel. And so I, as a nurturer, as a nurse, one of the big things is about respect and how you treat others. And it's one of the oldest ones in the book, but it's how you want to be treated is how you treat others, period. In life, with your children, with your parents, with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family, like you always, and that's something I actually learned from my mom because she just don't know how to not try. She don't know how to, fail at manifesting for her children. And we're talking middle class. We're talking just no money. Like, oh, I don't know money growing up. I mean, I was on scholarship. Like, we're not even talking in a financial sense. We're just talking like love and affirmation. And how she just wanted and still just wants the absolute best of whatever. It's a coloring in a page in the book. If it's buying a car, if it's going on a trip, she has always spoken positivity over my life. And so as a nurse, I've given that back. And it's a principle for me. And I speak over my family and my husband and my children and my friends positively. Like, you got this. It doesn't matter what it is. And that's one of my, that's a big one for me. Is you come across me and it's authentic, you know, and it's not always in your face, but you know, I'm going to just want the best for you. And that's principle for me. Another one I think,
I know it's so hard.
Like, I think as I've gotten older, I've started, you know, it is that kind of like slow it down with the fast churning. And so the opposite side of being a nurturer is being more for yourself, because we are not like included in this. You know, you talk about nursing and you talk about all this care, especially in crisis, you know, working through COVID and seeing loss and all of these things. And like, a lot of us just got left out of the self-care movement. And so we are just now starting to like get it together for ourselves. And so a principle for me now is to not feel guilty about what I decide to do for myself and how I decide to reward myself, because I live in front of an audience. I am always teaching. I'm always connecting. I'm always coaching. I'm always pouring out. And so now it's time to roll it back. And I think as a younger person, you're just not putting those, like, you got to grind, like, you got to get this while you're young. You got to do this and that. And you got to, and like, you get, you get, you know, it's like you're over it. Like, these folks are not, I mean, it's great to say, but do they really care if you build something in for yourself? Are they really invested in what you need to be doing to take care of yourself? It depends on who you ask, but usually the answer is no. Usually the answer is no. And so I stopped. I mean, even as recent as just this few years, I had to start giving time. I stopped feeling guilty for wanting to do things, for wanting to go nice places, for wanting to sit down, just be in the bed, just sit down for a little while and not do anything and not say anything. So that is a principle. That self-care thing. Woo, I mean, I know it's everywhere, but it's, you know, the thought in the movement, but there's a lot of us that just literally didn't have the time, didn't have the capacity to separate ourselves from that work of caring, you know. In therapy, take on so many, like so much. You leave yourself out, and so I'm stop doing that. I'm gonna stop. And
when I started taking care of myself, my entire life changed.
I really truly believe that.
Like, I was like, nope. I ain't
start saying no. You start saying no more. You know, I think my husband still talks about me and how I don't know how to say no, and you know, they coming to you because you don't really say no much, you know, like you'll find a way to make things happen. And so
what's your third one?
I've let's see. So my third one, I would say just don't stop trying. I don't have anything memorized about like what a principle, you know, list of principles.
It's your life.
But I think for me, because I'm a creator, I never stop trying. I never stop trying. I don't care what it is. Trying to execute, trying to be better, you know, trying to do better business. I think that, you know, I give that to my kids as well. You know, just never stop the attempt. Because there's always lessons in the attempt. There's always something that's going to come out of your attempt to try, whether it's successful or not, whether it is still, to me, that success comes in the lessons. And so that's why I say success is a mood. It's a mood.
Yeah. And I hate the word try. I get it, but I do, because you're doing it. You
I love it. Yes.
You're doing or you're not doing. Trying means you kind of like making it never know. You're either doing. So I like the word attempt. Always make an attempt, always be in motion, always be doing, right? Because the doing may not result in what you anticipated, but like you said, you always gonna get these lessons. I absolutely love. And my very last question for you, 60 seconds are left, so we out of time for this segment, but I want you to let me know, as a person, as a person who works as a nurse, mom, wife, right, and then has a business that your children are also involved in, what sort of mindset shifts did you have to make that you had to break away from? You grew up where your mom was manifesting all over the place, but you know, you may have been influenced by other people as well. So what sort of mindset shifts did you have to make in order to be successful as an entrepreneur? Because I mean, I had people say, "Oh, I buy her jewelry, you know, I buy her stuff." I know people know, and being a nurse ain't no part-time gig, right? So how do you? What kind of mindset shifts did you have to make to do it all that you do?
I think shifting into balance and being serious about getting in balance, because now you've taken on your children in a different capacity. So now they're like learning like life lessons, like in business. And then, you know, just, it's just a different way. I had to think, okay, I need to like hands off and let them learn. You know, you give the opportunity, but you want to like kind of see, like, let them learn the process in doing it. And, you know, the mindset around, is it possible? Is it like ridiculous to think that we could hire our kids so early? Is it, you know, it's more, you know, I had to like shed that limiting belief of what was possible in my business. Why isn't it possible? You know, why can't I do this? You know, and being in communities where it was happening, and then seeing them not be passive in the role, they embrace the role. They're so helpful. You know, I mean, it's just a blessing. And so I would say for sure, being able to just accept that we control this. It goes back to manifestation. Like, I'm gonna hire my kids. I think back and I'm just like, I didn't even really see it as a big accomplishment, but it's huge. When I tell the story, you know, my payrolls, all three of them are working and earning. And then there's lessons in that. So I think the limiting beliefs around, was it possible?
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because I think that there are limiting beliefs, especially when people are like, well, I work a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 7, and I have these dreams, and they think they may have to quit their jobs, or how are they going to be able to do both? And I have kids and I have a wife. Well, you heard it here first. It is definitely probably not your first time, but you heard it here again. It is absolutely possible. And I love the idea of our children working with us, even if it's not for a lifetime. I'm gonna tell you, my daughter, when I started, she was the very first person that I hired, and she just recently left to transition over to the next thing that she's doing in her life, right? But the thing is that it was this thing that we do at Key that opened up her mind, for her to even know that it was possible for her to create a life that she wanted and that she desired, right? So before that, it was like, oh, the traditional thing. I went to school. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this job. And then I'm like, let me show you what's possible. And after that, now she has her own thing going, closing her own deals,
awesome.
Her own Pilates thing, you know what I mean? All of that. So I'm in support of that full-fledged, right? Like, I wasn't mad when she was like, well, I'm finna leave, because, you know, I'm all about legacy.
They're growing. They're growing.
Whatever that means for you, even if this is a stepping stone to that, right? So I absolutely love it. I love this segment. We're going to go ahead and go right into our promos. This is a chance where you guys get to do a commercial. You have 60 seconds, no more than 60 seconds, because I don't want to be rude and cut you off. But 60-second commercial. We're going to start with Nyela, and then, of course, Aneesha, you'll go. So, Nyela, you have 60 seconds to tell us about your business. Your beautiful still will be popping up on the screen right now. Go ahead.
Okay, I am the CEO and clinical director of Lotus Healing. We are a private practice behavioral health agency. We help people with depression, anxiety, family issues, all of that. I tell people that it's important to have a therapist. My therapist, I was as a therapist. We're located in the Hyde Park Bank Building, 1525 East 53rd Street. We do online appointments as well as in-person appointments.
Love it. Thank you. And yeah, and you guys seen all of her information. If you want to reach out, can we get that one more time, please? Yes, so this is all of her information, email, and her website. If you are looking for a therapist, you have Dr. Nyela, but you also have 6 other great therapists that can help you out as well as part of the Lotus Healing. All right, so Aneesha, you're up next for Reflections by Zana.
Yes. So Reflections by Zana is an e-commerce brand that caters to the professional woman through work accessories. As a nurse, I started kind of this movement for nursing, and it took off in a way that I was been able to serve dozens of other professions through our accessories, which are badge reels, there are socks, there are bags, there are backpacks. It's like everyday things that we have designed out to be very representative and high quality. So we are available on Etsy. We have our own website that you see there. We have wholesale that we do as well, and we're also on Amazon. So as a brand, you can definitely find us in places where representation in the workplace may not visually exist, and that's what we do.
Very good. Thank you. This is great, great, great. And you guys, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page, okay? And make sure that you are also following us on Spotify and iHeart as well. This is all of the information here, and it is also dropped into the site where you can find us with iHeart. You can find us on Spotify, Facebook, and or YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you share. Okay, ladies, we are in our last segment, our final segment of tonight. But I got a question for y'all. What's your favorite song? What's that song that gets you going and moving? And now, see, look, listen. I understand.
It's too many.
But it may be a lot. But you got one right now that you pumping, okay? You got one right now that you have listened to more than others, right? Like, I'm always like, it don't matter. Like, I always play or especially these days. And this song comes in rotation all the time. But Leanna Lahaba, Say a Little Prayer, you know what I mean? It's a remake, and I play that out like it. My husband be like, okay, 6. I'll be like, that's my thing. That's my song. So what's your song, Dr. Nyela? Just over a lifetime or just right now? You know what I mean? Because I know songs can reflect moods.
Yeah, songs reflect moods, and it's kind of hard for me because I'm always shifting and stuff. And so I've been listening to my gospel playlist lately. And it's something about that Jesus Can Work It Out remix, and then she be like, baby, taking care of me. Didn't he work it out? That's my part. He worked it out. So yeah, the remix to Jesus Can Work It Out. I don't know. It's one of those that it just gets you, you just ride. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what it'll be right now.
That's that reassurance. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everything good. Gospel music always make me feel good. Aneesha, what about you?
So I am a lover of music, and this is a very, very hard question. Very hard. But
that's why I had to ask, because
I would say, because I don't do a lot of today's music. I live in the past when it comes to music. And I grew up with waking up the gospel on Sundays because, it was time to get ready for church or get the house clean. So I'm very familiar with the moods too. But I would say Golden by Jill Scott.
Oh, which one?
Golden.
Yeah.
By Jill Scott.
That's
like that's a like you can catch it anywhere. It doesn't have to run from the beginning. You immediately, it's an immediate mood. When you hear it when it's on, and it's just like it's such a feel good song.
Yeah, it really is. Love it. Executives that are in the audience with us, tell us that song that you listening to that gets you in the mood. What is it that it does to you? Because music definitely does align with mood and can shift mood real quick. If you're feeling funky, you could put something on, and next thing you know, you like, you know what I mean? So like music always blesses my soul. I don't care how I'm feeling, right? I love to do. It's Friday. I'm gonna get off here. I'm about to go meet my girl. I'm gonna turn on something. You know what I mean? It might be Zajay. Everybody move. You know what I mean? It don't matter.
Hey, Mr. DJ, get it up.
Kiaka says she just dropped. She coming in. She wanted to drop in for these gems that is being laid down. Nia said we are always a work in progress, and I think that's great. Lou said yes. There's a lesson in everything you beep or do. Never stop beeping because you know that's trying. So I'm beeping that out.
I love it.
Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun, you guys. I call this the WTF ever segment. So what I do, I put out a song. I'm sorry, not a song. I got music in my
Yes, on the mind now.
I put out a word, right? I'll put out a word, and then when I say that word, I want you to tell me what it is that you think about when you say it. Now, don't give me no long soliloquies. I'm talking about another word or a sentence. What does it leave you with, right? So we got some time, so I'll go through these. And you guys that are in the executive suite as audience, you do the same. So if the first word I'm gonna have is sisterhood. So sisterhood equals what to you, right? So tell me, because last time we did this and the audience participated, they was just giving me explanations and I didn't know what word made them feel what way. So make sure you do that. So we're gonna start with Dr. Nyela, right? So the first word is sisterhood. So go ahead, tell me. Sisterhood.
Community.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Love.
Ceremony.
Rituals.
Privilege.
Right now it's being Black.
Ooh, that's a first for me.
The whole word.
Emotional intelligence.
A financial well-being.
Pivot.
Renew.
Fail.
Lessons.
Succeed.
I was going to say the beep word. Succeed.
You can say
Action.
it.
Action.
Action. Look, listen, this is freedom of speech out here. You can say what you want.
Yeah.
Religion.
Religion. Hope.
Enterprising.
Enterprising. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm lost with enterprising. What?
Really? First word. First word. What's in your head? You can't tell me it ain't a word.
Enterprising. When you say enterprising, I thought wealth and money. That's what I thought.
There it is.
Word. Yeah.
There it is. Alpha.
Omega.
Sex.
Please.
Love.
Oh, joy.
Forgiveness.
Peace.
Marriage.
Communication.
Okay. I'm going to go to Aneesha. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Aging.
Grace.
Smart.
Intelligence.
Change.
Necessary.
Leadership.
Gift. To give.
Authority.
My mom.
Spiritual.
Soul.
Young tender.
Young tender. Bobby Brown.
She went back to the 90s.
When you said young, I was thinking Roni. That was the first word that came to my head.
He was a whole mood, that man.
Freedom.
What was it?
Freedom.
Freedom. Choice.
Integrity.
Health.
Legacy.
Generations.
Team.
necessary.
Skillful.
You said skillful?
Mm-hmm.
Skillful.
First word.
Okay. I think skill set.
Family.
Everything.
Entrepreneur.
A blessing.
Precision.
Procedures.
Social.
Fun.
Outcast.
Not so fun, but
Passive.
different. I would say different.
Passive.
Aggressive.
Aggressive.
It's the opposite. I just think
I
passive.
know. Passive.
And the same sometimes too. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. Okay, that's good. See, I warmed up the brain. We usually have a lot of fun to get you thinking like, wait, what? Like you said,
Right.
it's like enterprising. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm giving you the award, Dr. Nyela, for privilege. You are the first person. Usually people say white. It's the first thing that comes to mind. You're the first person ever, and we're halfway through the season to say Black right now.
Hey, it is. It's everywhere. You know, when I went to Martha's Vineyard, it was the first time I've ever been, and it was like Black privilege on steroids. You know,
I swear to God, them tickets already told you it was gonna be Black privilege.
Man, you know, but this being a part of this conversation is Black privilege on steroids. The fact that our hair, we can wear our hair to work however we want to wear our hair. We don't have to get you know, our hairstyles, all our unique hairstyles, that's privilege. Being Black, it's, you know, we're in a huge paradigm shift where we are requiring that you are going to acknowledge us.
Yeah.
It is a required, we are not going to be ignored. And that's why I said Black privilege, all this diversity and inclusion, all of it, even though some of it is lip service, we will not be ignored anymore.
And I think, I love that you said a paradigm shift, because it is, and it came back, like we've been here at different periods of history, and in different ways, right? Where we demanded to be seen, to be heard, right? But I think and I know that it's a paradigm shift because of all the years I've been doing the work for a decade in this space, and right before George Floyd, people were scared to say Black Lives Matter. People were scared to say the word Black, even Black people, right? So now that this has become kind of, like you said, it's a privilege, it's a paradigm shift. Now we've even started to say Black Lives Matter. We have demanded to be seen, heard. People that you wouldn't have never. I remember it was a holiday. I passed out. I wrote a book, the Neo Green book, right? It has over 1,000 Black-owned businesses to support activists that are doing things, and people was looking at me. You know, I was the radical one. Now, what was considered radical is now the norm. Everybody is talking about it. So that, in a sense, brings me back to the last conversation that we had in the Executive Suite, where we talked about privilege in a way that we all have a level of privilege, right? If I go to Brazil, I'm privileged. You understand? People don't know that. When you leave out of this country and you go somewhere else and they find out you're American, they don't say you Black. You American. So now you have a certain level of privilege. So I think, Dr. Nyela, you hit on it when you're saying, like, in this paradigm shift right here that we're in right now, we have a privilege that we didn't even have just 3 years ago.
Just 3 years. It's incredible, you know, and it's when, you know, I know that there's other undertones. There's a lot of stuff.
Of course. I mean, the world, the problems ain't solved, but it's still a privilege.
It is amazing to be, we are the superpower right now. It is an amazing time to be a Black woman. It's an amazing time to be Black, but it's a great,
incredibly amazing time to be a Black woman.
Yeah.
And to just piggyback off of that and what you were saying about success, the fact that people see success in the space as a possibility in business. Because a lot of times honing in on your Blackness is limiting. It is seen, it is looked down upon, it is a risk. You cannot be mainstream, you won't be able to cross over, you won't be able to do A, B, and C because you're choosing this lane. And that's a personal. We got called racist a couple of weekends ago by a business owner. Because we
Celebrate.
serve ourselves. Oh yeah, we chose our lane, and that is just a bad business model. Somebody actually emailed us about it. They just felt it was triggering. It was triggering. And so to know that so many businesses are seeing success in just embracing Blackness it is a paradigm. I completely agree with you. I can't say, we tried anyway, movement or no movement, when we started Reflections by Zana. I was like, people got to see themselves. We got to see ourselves. And so it had nothing to do with making choices, more so than just standing in your power and saying, like, I'm bold enough to just serve us.
Yeah. And trust and believe. Just 3 years ago, you could not do it. It was a lot of businesses,
a lot of pushback,
very quiet about being Black owned. A lot of them, you learning about multimillionaires that you didn't even know, people owning businesses that you didn't even know were Black owned businesses. But because now it is a privilege to put that stamp on it, people are coming out. Now, you can feel how you want to feel about the privilege that has arisen in this paradigm shift, but it is still so. So I love that you brought that up. Let's talk about this segment, and let's talk about some things. I know that I want to talk about some takeaways that we have gained from this segment. But before I do that, I always open the floor up for you guys each to ask a question to the group as well as the audience that you may have. So, Aneesha, do you have a question that you want us to answer, and also anybody maybe that's in the audience that would like to answer?
I want, maybe if somebody could explain the power of abundance and manifestation as a concept, or as a daily, like it integrate into your daily life, daily ritual, if you will. We hear it, and we hear it more and more. But what does it really mean? What could somebody who maybe is not familiar at all with abundance and not familiar with manifestation, a lot of it has to do with mindset and choosing to put energy in that space. But I think there are many of us who are just, it is a foreign term. It is a term that people just kind of say in passing. But I want to know, like, what you guys feel about, like, real impact, and how you all came to be intentional and integrate what that abundant manifestation, what does that look like? What does that mean?
That's a dope question. And Dr. Nyela, just because, we're both going to be able to answer this, but because you've already touched on a lot of that, I would like for you to go ahead and kick off the response for this.
I think that's a very interesting question, because I have seen a lot on social media when I tune into it. Everybody manifesting and living in abundance, and but very seldom is a person like vulnerable enough to say, hey, what does that really look like in everyday, just practical terms? And I think at the beginning, at the baseline of it, is recognizing what you already have. Just kind of looking at everything as the fact that it was a goal at some time. Like, sure, you sitting there and you want it one day. You sitting in it every day. You know what I'm saying? And so recognizing the abundance that exists currently. And I think that if you just start with what you have going on and recognizing it was not always like this, and then to take it further, when we are having a bad day and we were like, damn, I've been doing my meditations and why ain't this popping off like that? You can also consider, of your past bad days, this bad day is like rolling sevens. And so it's not about creating more, I think. I think it's more about highlighting what is going on presently that was not going on before, and how we have if we are in a space to take it for granted. And so And that's instant. That stuff pop up every day.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, that's a great answer. Just recognizing the now. When I think back of how life could have been, we all probably think back as teenage moms.
Yeah.
You know, and that expectation that you get when you know something happens at that level. I would have never thought of that as an abundant manifesting mindset. I just knew that I wasn't going to fail at it, whatever it was. And so even that mindset, you know, we just don't recognize as abundant or, you know, man. So I just love that explanation. I think it does set a lot of things in perspective with just everyday thought process. Like your thoughts every day, you know, mean something. They have energy, all of them. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm learning as I get older is the power of thinking, period.
Yeah.
Period. Good, bad, or whatever.
And that's not easy, right? Because you feel sometimes your thoughts just pop up.
Yes.
In your head, right? So it's you could say something but be thinking something completely different. So I think that it's a practice, right? And that is the part of the meditation. It's a practice, just like exercising, right? Like you may not be able to do 100 push-ups when you first start out, but it's about being in the practice and being consistent with the practice. And by the end of, 3 months, you're probably doing 200 push-ups. You understand? It's not something, so I think a good example of just what Dr. Nyela was saying as far as, remembering where you come from. I call it the commemoration, right? And Facebook does a great job. If you on Facebook, but Facebook does a great job of popping up reminders.
It sure does.
Of things from years ago that you said, and you could say, damn, I'm actually living that right now. You understand? And I've seen that so much. But for me, I really focus on these 6 things, right? So meditation for me is visualization. That's how I control my thoughts, right? It's controlled. Sometimes you have to have controlled meditation with someone else saying it, or even pre-recording yourself and listening to yourself, or going into a space, transcending into another space by listening to nature sounds, but like visualizing, seeing, that's part of the exercise. That's part of the practice. And then from the meditation, affirming that which you see, declaring that it is yours. People will hear me all the time say, billionaire Bella, billionaire Bella, billionaire Bella. I built a 7-figure business, and I looked up and I was like, whoa, when did I get here? Right? When did I get here? How did I get here? And I've been in the practice. I've been seeing it. I'm married. The things that have happened over the 5 years since I have been in the intentional practice.
Yeah.
My ideal life of success has been amazing. So it starts with meditation, then it goes with affirming, declaring, and you have to believe. You can't just say it. You have to believe. And then part of that belief is going into motion and being obedient to God's plan, not yours. Right? So then from there, you start to see the manifestations. And through prayer, I don't ever ask for anything in prayer. I always say thank you in prayer. Prayer is gratitude for me. I'm giving gratitude for the things the lessons I've learned, right? The things that I have now and the things that are coming. I'm giving gratitude to Allah, the angels, the ancestors. I'm giving gratitude. And that belief comes with that commemoration that Dr. Nyela was saying. As soon as you are questioning whether or not, something is real or is possible, you go right back to, remember what you said 4 years ago? And that's why writing things down and journaling is so important, because it's a reminder that all things are possible.
I want to add something to that. I want to say it might have been in 2021. It was like the winter solstice, and when I told everybody else, like, write down all your manifestations and thoughts and prayers. But when I write down in my journal, if I'm looking for something, I write it in the present tense.
Yeah.
So I look back on it, and it looked like I just wrote it down like yesterday. I am this. I am that, because you write in the present. And it was, like I said, 2 years ago. But in that 2 years, you go back, you look, and it's there.
Yep. And that's the power of now. What people don't understand is in now, the past, present, and future, which is why I asked the question that I asked, it's happening simultaneously. Right? When we started this, that's already history.
Yeah.
Right? So we're and right now is the future.
Yeah.
And right now is
the future.
You understand? So the power of now and being in the constant practice of manifestation is the thing, but it's not easy.
No.
Because the mind is powerful. You understand? And so is the things that society continues
to give you. Yes.
Yeah. Propaganda.
Yes.
Media.
Yes.
So it's a constant practice.
Yes. So you have to be very intentional, almost like a knife and butter. Like just I refuse
that's why I feel so blessed to have the husband that I have, because without him even knowing it, right? Like he stays in a space of like unbothered.
Yeah.
Like everything's gonna work out. And sometimes my concern will peep up like, wait, and then he'll remind me of myself and my practice and what I believe, because he literally does. He's my peace, right? Like just walking. So Nia said, abundance is very important. To know my cup is so full that I can fill the cups of many. For my friends, family, and community. It's also being able to define it for yourself when manifesting. Is it a resource, healing, opportunity, good company? Recognize what you desire and know that it's possible for you, right? So I'm of the world of no impossibilities.
Yeah.
Nothing
is love it.
Yes, so that's a great question. Dr. Nyela, what's your question?
My question is, I think that I would want to kind of put out there why people don't engage more with new people, new friends. I often hear, and I've been on this kind of drumbeat about, engaging with new people. And there's this kind of school of thought out there where I got my friends, I don't need any new friends. I've been with them since kindergarten and all the things, and I want to know why that is such a thing, because I feel I've met some of the most wonderful connections, like literally in the past 3 years.
Hell yeah.
My new friend, not saying there's anything wrong with my old friends or my homegirls I went to college with, but it's just, I know some smoking, just Black excellence on steroids people, and I just met them.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting.
I think that goes with the common mindset of common folk. It's a scarcity mindset. People are content where they are. See, individuals like us who are ever changing and growing and about experiences and understand that our purpose in life is to connect and create with others.
Yes.
We don't think like that. I'm not from the school of #no new friends. Give me all give me all the connections, and also understand that everybody isn't coming along to be your friend.
Right.
But you can still have a substantial relationship with them.
And I leave a lot of it up to the laws of attraction. I do believe that relationships are attracted, and people that come into your life in whatever season are there for a reason. And that is so funny, because that is something that over the years I absolutely have just seen and felt in nursing, and just a lot of times our coworkers are like our friends / family. It's so much about those things that are similar that it's very easy to build friendships. But as I started on entrepreneurship and then trying to grow, that all had to shift. It all had to shift. And sometimes you can't nurture relationships you thought were going to be forever relationships. And that's okay too. But just to add to, like, give it to me. I want to be in that space. I want to be in that place. I do feel that the folks that are attracted or attractive to me, the organic relationships that come from being just out here in certain spaces are meant to be. And so I do embrace the energy sometimes it's just a good feeling you have being around somebody. It's a good feeling you have when you're talking to them, and they're refreshing and all of those things. I think they're blessings. And I think that I was due that for whatever reason. So I'm 100% on board with nurturing those folks that find their way to you because there's a reason for it.
Absolutely. I love it. You guys, we're going to go to a commercial break and we're going to come back with some final thoughts before we conclude our Friday afternoon. So real quick, let's go into this commercial.
Key Virtual Support Solutions matches you with highly qualified, pre-vetted entry to executive level talent for your business or personal needs. We can support you or your team with administrative, sales, customer service, or operation needs. The process is simple, and we can match you within 72 hours. Call 217-212-4367 or visit our website at keysupportsolutions.com to learn more.
Yes, you guys, if you need some quality back office support with operations, somebody to help you get your life, honey, make sure you definitely contact Key Support Solutions, and we will connect you with very highly qualified executives. We have stellar 5-star reviews from our clients, and we have some very well-known clients, so make sure you check it out. We are going to close with some final thoughts and takeaways. So, Dr. Nyela, today's time together, our lunchtime chat, what are some of the takeaways that you're leaving here with?
First, again, I just want to thank you again for creating this space. I think that this is wonderful. I think that it is definitely the beginning of something that all of women in our situations will be tuning into, actually are tuning into to see what they can do. What I've gathered from this is that this conversation is necessary. And I think it's great that you're out here, you're hosting it and having us dispel some myths and raise the vibration of the conversation around Black women, business, what success looks like, and the fact that we do get along and we embrace each other and we lift each other up. So that's the biggest takeaway, is that I'm glad that you're doing this.
Thank you. That makes me feel good. Okay, what about you, Aneesha? What are some of your takeaways from this?
It's hard to follow that, but I would say the power of that affirmative thinking, like just setting roots in positive affirmation. I think a takeaway for me, especially being somebody, that's a creative and can be just trying to experience so much, it's hard to slow down and really set roots. And so being able to kind of really talk about manifestation and really dig into intention and thought intention and relationship building, in this way, in this space, is a huge takeaway for me, because I'm not a fluffy person. So you always get the motivation in other places and, people saying all the things that make you feel good. But this conversation was like felt, if that makes sense. It was a way for me to just really have palatable information or just a reset to say, there's more I can do. There's more work on myself I can do. There's more work that I can bring into the business. There's, just more. There's just more. So I would say that's my biggest takeaway. So
yeah, I'm with both of you guys. Thank you for affirming the space, Dr. Nyela, as well as you, Aneesha. And it was just, again, the confirmation of the power of thought and creating your own, manifesting your own life, despite the expectations that other people set on you. We all have very similar stories from being mothers very early in life, but also dispelling a lot of myths that come with being mothers very early in life, right? And so I hope that there are others that are listening to it, whether they're tuned in today or they tune in tomorrow, that find inspiration in the gems that were dropped up in here today. I truly appreciate you ladies being a part of this conversation. I always want to leave you with a little token. So, Denise, if you can show the ladies what we'll be sending them, that would be great. Yes, so I want to send you guys both a key Xecutive Suite mug. If you're anything like me, you drink your tea, you drink your water, you a mug collector. I'm a mug collector. So we just want to say thank you from us to you for spending your afternoon. I understand how hard it can be, especially as busy women. So Denicia, of course, will send you all of the information so that we can get your mugs over to you. For everyone else, feel free to pick up your own mug over there from the Key Culture store, along with other goodies that we have online. Also, ladies, I will be inviting you to an event. We're doing a brunch with all of the Executive Suite participants, talking about new friends and connections and experiences. So those who have been guests on our show, who would have been some fabulous women, we'll be connecting at a December. It's in December. It's a December brunch that we'll be doing, and you will get more details and information on that. For those who are inside of the Executive Suite as guests, we will open up a few tickets to be available for you guys as well, because you are faithful followers, and I know how well it is when you put people in the room and how they're able to connect. And like Dr. Nyela said, she wants to dispel the myth that we are not approachable, because we are. I'm always open to talking to people. I talked to several people this week, from a mentorship angle, right? And then also from a coach angle, from a friend angle, from a sister girl angle, always there. So I really appreciate you guys showing up this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It was great to meet you, Dr. Nyela.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you in December.
That's right.
Yes, ladies. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, you guys, it has been super, super great. And I'm extremely appreciative of you staying tuned in this entire time. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page, follow our Facebook page, sign up for our newsletter, listen to us on Spotify. If this is your first time, make sure that you go back and catch some of those old episodes. They're just as fire as this conversation. And make sure that you're tuned in every first and third Friday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for 90 minutes of gem dropping with phenomenal women. Thank you. I am out. See you next time.